Hi, I'm Catherine Parisi. I'm a senior at Westfield High School. I am here to talk to you about work camp. So when Dawn came and asked me to give a 5-minute speech about work camp, I was actually really excited, which is new for me because I hate public speaking. But the only thing I was really worried about was fitting it into this 5-minute window because I could go on and on about work camp. I just love it so much. Sorry, I'm just pulling up my notes. Okay. So for those of you who don't know, work camp is it's my favorite week of the year, by far. It is a week where the whole youth group goes to a different state. So I've been on 4, so we've gone to Accident, Maryland, Racine, Wisconsin, Chattanooga, Tennessee, and Wilmington, North Carolina. And we meet up with a bunch of other youth groups from around the country, and we're placed into groups of 5 or 6 with one adult. And we get assigned a site, and we go and we fix this house, whether we paint or we build a wheelchair ramp. Just basically we do the things for the house that they don't have enough money to afford to do for themselves. And then while we're doing this, we also connect with this group of 5 that we have met, and they become some of my closest friends. I still talk to almost all of them today, and I've been on 4, so that's like a lot of people. It's too early to do math. So at work camp, they give us different topics to talk about throughout the week. So the past themes have been like grit or on the road or stuff like that. And each one is always super like relatable in our lives. I know for teens especially, you can always find a way to use what you learn and have it come over to how you're living your life today. And group always does a fantastic job at just making the message perfect for teens and just for the people that are there. And I've never had a problem connecting with what they're telling us. It's been so amazing, and it doesn't matter what school we're in, whether it's in North Carolina or Tennessee. Whenever you step into that gym and you're in there for worship, you can just feel God's presence throughout the entire gym, and everyone else is feeling it, and you know it. As soon as you start singing and as soon as they start preaching to you, it's just everywhere, and you could just reach out and hug God if you wanted to. It's just so alive in there. And then to my last point would be the people that you meet. So you'd think going to a different state with a bunch of different people, you'd be super shy. But it's a lot different when everyone is putting themselves out there and trying to make the best out of this week that we have together. So when I first went, I thought, okay, I'd meet these 5 people, we'd get super close, and then we'd move on with our lives. But it's not just those 5 people. Everyone there, you just connect with so greatly because everyone's listening to the same stuff, everyone's crying, everyone's hugging each other. Even if you don't know anyone, you see someone crying, you just go up and hug them. Like, that has definitely happened to me multiple times. I've started crying, and some random guy or girl will just come up and give me a big hug. But that's just kind of how it is at work camp. Everyone's a big family, and no one really cares what state you're from or what football team you cheer for. It's just love. It's everywhere. Probably my favorite memory was from Wilmington, North Carolina, when we got there. We have awkward Mondays. So that's basically the first day of work, when you're first meeting this new crew and no one wants to talk because you don't want to like embarrass yourself. But my crew, for some reason, didn't have an awkward Monday. We just got there and we immediately all just started talking like we had been friends for years, which is really unusual for me at least. And on the last day, all of us were super sad about leaving, but one of our crew members brought his ukulele, and we just sat with our resident, and she prayed for us, and then we sang songs with her. And I just started crying. Like, everyone just was crying. And then it started raining, and we all went out and had a big water fight and sprayed silly string on each other. So it was pretty amazing. Yeah, that's all I have for you guys. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you guys have enjoyed everything we've done for you this morning. My name is Taylor Bird, and I'm an 8th grader at Carmel Middle School. And I'd like to apologize because it's my first time talking in front of a group like this, and I'm a little nervous, so sorry if I make any mistakes. I'm here to talk about my amazing experience at Fall Retreat of 2018. Retreats are my by far favorite thing about Cornerstone Youth Group. They're just something that it's so hard to explain if you haven't been there, and it's different every time, and yet they're very similar. Our theme for this morning is kind of supposed to be, my kingdom is not from this world, but for me, retreats are kind of like little slices of heaven, if that makes any sense. At retreats, we always get like a theme song, and for this particular retreat, our theme song was Heaven on Earth by Stars Go Dim, which is a fabulous song. You guys should listen to it. After we all jump around dancing, after first hearing our theme song, Dawn gives us our retreat theme, which was Shine. During retreat, many amazing things happened. Right before this retreat, I was having some troubles with many of my friends in the youth group. I was so scared to go on retreat. This was something that had never happened before because I had always been so excited to go that being scared felt so strange to me. One of my favorite parts about retreat is cry night. That's at least what everyone calls it. It's always on Saturday nights after we do all of our goofy fun stuff. It's always cool to see people who 5 minutes ago were being so funny and silly get so serious and quiet. This year's cry night, I had the honor of being a part of it, which I was so excited to be a part of it because I love him. On Saturday afternoon, Don gave me my speaking card. He also explained to me and all the other speakers what it is that we would be doing. The ceremony had a huge backstory. I can't explain it because it's so long. And I was super excited to be a part of it. When it came time for me to read my card, which said, "It is easy to think someone is not cool enough to be your friend, but it is better to give her a chance and try to get to know her, to light a candle of friendship." Like I had mentioned earlier, I was having problems with my friends in the youth group. I wanted to believe that this little speaking part would somehow magically fix things, and to my utter shock, it did. I have no idea how that happened. And I have no doubt that this was God working his magic in a way that forever has impacted me, and I will never forget it. Since our theme is supposed to be, my kingdom is not from this world, I honestly don't think that that's true, because you can have little slices of heaven on earth. You can't have like the full experience, but you can have something similar, like retreats, or when I'm up here worshiping God with you and out serving. It's like a little slice of heaven. I'd like to thank you for coming to you Sunday and sitting through my speech, and that I didn't bore you too much. Have a nice rest of your day.
So good, oh my goodness, that's so loud. Good morning, everyone. I've spoken a few times up here, but for those of you that don't know, my name is Coco Cooney. I'm an 8th grader at Carmel Middle School, and I'm part of the St. Mark's Youth Group. This summer, I went to Week of Hope in Grand Rapids, Michigan. We learned that the theme was going to be grit, and that's what I'll be talking about. I was really excited for everything that we are going to do, but for some reason, I was also extremely nervous, which was kind of new for me. I was prepared to make new friends and grow closer to my youth group, but other than that, I didn't know what happened, and it really frightened me. When we got to the church in Grand Rapids, we immediately connected with another youth group from Illinois, and that really helped calm my nerves. In fact, I still talk to them today. Later that evening, we went to the first program where we would learn about what we'd be doing. Our youth group sat together with our new friends, and we just joked around and had a bunch of fun. I'd completely forgotten about being nervous. Little did I know the events that would occur later that night. When we first arrived in Grand Rapids, we heard rumors that one work group would be traveling to an equestrian center, which is where horses are, and that made me extremely nervous. It made me nervous because I'm very, very afraid of horses. After singing a few songs, we finally got to the part that we'd all been waiting for, getting into our groups. I was put into a group with our very own Alana Raymond and Miss Jackie Rowell, and I was really excited. I thought nothing could go wrong. Little did I know what would happen. As they were passing out assignment details, I got a really weird feeling in my stomach. And when they handed us our paper, it's fair to say my heart dropped to my feet. We were going to the equestrian center. Now, if you remember, I'm very afraid of horses. I still remember the indescribable feeling I felt when I found out where we were going. Tears immediately started to pour out of my eyes, and my body was shaking from quiet sobs. To make it even better, as I started to cry, they handed us informational packets saying that if we got hurt because of the horses, it wasn't their fault. This did not help at all. As much as I would like to say I held myself together, I did not. I ran over to my mom crying, repeatedly saying that I wasn't going. Wow, everyone else was kind of looking at me. It was quite the scene if I do say so myself. I remember clearly one of the red shirts coming over and asking if everything was okay, and I screamed no while my mom calmly said yes. I was freaking out. We tried so many things to calm me down. I got endless amounts of hugs, some from people I didn't even know. We prayed as a group, I played cards, I listened to music, but no matter what, I was still so upset and scared. That night, I fell asleep crying in the corner of our room. The next morning, I didn't talk, my eyes were bloodshot from crying, and I looked like a mess. Later in the morning, when we were all packed up, I got into our beautiful smelling van and silently cried in the back seat a majority of the way there. On top of everything, the staff told us we were working in the pastures with the horses that could roam free. I would have never gotten through that first day if it weren't for two of my best friends, Cameron Cohen and Alana Raymond. They constantly made me laugh throughout the day, and I cannot thank them enough for that. On the fourth day, we had the chance to groom the horses. I think it was the fourth day. We had the chance to groom the horses, and I was terrified. After seeing that the horse really wasn't going to hurt me, I asked if I could lead it back to the pastures, and I did. Now, I may have been shaking the whole time, but I did it. It felt amazing. Throughout one single week, I learned so much. To other people, my story is about overcoming a simple, stupid fear. But to me, it's so much more. I learned patience when we spent hours upon hours scooping poop. I learned how to share food when we forgot to pack enough turkey sandwiches. I learned teamwork by having to carry wheelbarrows of horse poop that felt like they were 1,000 pounds. I learned more about my group when we talked during devotionals. I learned that trusting is a lot harder than you think. I learned that there's always someone to catch you when you trip over a poop shovel, literally and figuratively. I learned that it's okay to be vulnerable and scared because it's a normal human emotion. I've always been so afraid of people seeing me differently because I don't have a lot of confidence or because I'm a little quirky, but in that 1 week, I also learned that my quirkiness and off-key singing are what make me me. I got closer to God because of what makes me human, my fears and my imperfections. I got closer with my youth group because I opened up to them about my feelings, which I've never done before. I got closer to my new friends because I showed that I care about them. Not only did I bond with these people through my faith, but I bonded through music and art and silly games and shoveling poop, and most importantly, the things that make us human, our fears. As scary as this experience was, I would never trade it for anything because of how much it taught me. Thank you for listening to my story.